Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. Welcome to another live English stream. Wow! Yeah! Here we go again. It's Sunday. It's a fun day. It's time to learn English day. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are you happy? I really hope so. So here we go again. It's Sunday. These Sundays seem to come around so quickly. And here is another one just to prove it. It is Sunday the 5th of November. A brand new month. We are now into November. And of course, we all know what that means. We are just a few weeks away from Christmas. But unfortunately, we are not allowed to mention Christmas just yet. It's a little bit too early. Although having said that, I have started to put my Christmas lights up outside the house this week. I started doing it much to the amazement of my neighbours. They all came out to have a look because they are very curious. I have some new neighbours now living next door, and they came out to have a look because they were very intrigued by the fact that I'm putting up Christmas lights on the outside of my house. More about that in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But today we have a show to do. We are now as live can be. Lots of people already on the live chat. Oh my goodness, thank you very much for joining me. Can I just say once again, I know I said it last week because of course last week was a very special lesson. It was a lesson celebrating my 11th year on YouTube. It is true, I have been on here teaching English for over 11 years. And of course last week we were looking slightly different last week. It was Halloween last week, and as a way of celebrating it, Mr. Steve and myself, we dressed up in fancy Halloween costumes. But of course, as you can see, I am now back to normal this week. Well, as near to normal as possible. So the live chat is now up and running. Hello to Julie G. Julie is the first one here today. Thank you, Julie, for joining me. It's so nice to see you, and it's very nice to see all of you here every single week. Thanks once again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Matt is here. Hello, Matt. Matt Walloo. Hello to you. Tias is here. Hello, Tias. So good to see lots of my regular viewers. Olga is also here. Hakim, Asil, Ferrek or Ferret is here as well. Jana is here. I'm so happy to see you today, Mr. Duncan. I love you so much. Thank you very much for your kind message. When you, hello when you, I believe when you is new here today. So welcome to my live stream. My name is Duncan and I teach English right here on YouTube. And of course every Sunday I am here live. For those who are watching now, I am actually live. It is coming up to 10 minutes past 2 on a Sunday afternoon. It's Sunday the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. More about that later on. Yeslin is here. Hello, Yeslin. Also, Ant Rad. Hello, it's a long time. since I've watched your last online video. Welcome back, Ant Rad. Nishant is also here. Hello, Nishant. Thanks for joining me today. Apparently, Nishant hasn't been watching my live streams for a long time, but Nishant says, it's good to be back. It's good to have you back. When You is here. Hello, When You. Ah, yes, I was right. Yes, I am right. I am spot on. I am correct. When You is new here. So welcome, When You. You are a rookie. Rookie. That's a great word, by the way. If someone is describing themselves as a rookie, it means they are new or they are a beginner. Sandra Haj is here. Hello, Sandra. I haven't seen you for a very long time. Where have you been? A big howdy from France, Mr. Duncan, and also to Mr. Steve. Good afternoon, everyone. To all those who are watching this Sunday Live English. Yes, it is live, and it's Sunday, the 5th of November. XN is here. Ciao from Rome. A big hello to Rome. Apparently, at the moment, it is raining at the moment. Den Tran Van says, Mr. Duncan, you look like a vampire. What do you mean now? Do you mean at this moment in time I look like a vampire? Or are you talking about last week? I'm not sure. Rose Smells. I'm Bella. Hello, Bella. And this is my nickname. Oh, I see. I think you are preempting today's questions because we have some questions coming today, including the mystery idioms. We have some special mystery idioms for you to solve today. Also, we have some questions as well, including do you have or do you know someone? Do you know someone? Or do you know someone? Or do you have a nickname? So that is today's question. Do you or someone you know have a nickname? Is your name ever abbreviated or shortened? So apparently Bella has a nickname, and her nickname is Bella. But what is that short for? Is it short for something? Is that an abbreviation? So that's one of today's questions. Do you have a nickname? So a nickname is a name that people give you, normally relating to something about your personality, or maybe sometimes it is a play on your name. So maybe your name is rearranged somehow. So today we are talking all about nicknames. Do you have a nickname, or do you have a name that you call one of your friends? Maybe sometimes a nickname can be very rude or impolite. For example, I had a friend at school who always used to fart a lot, and some of my classmates used to call him Farty Pants. It's true. So sometimes the nickname that is given can be very rude or very personal. Analytic Brain is here. Hello, Mr. Duncan. How are you? How are things going? Not too bad, thank you very much. I've had a very busy week. During the week, I was outside on the front of my house putting up the Christmas lights. Of course, every year I always do that, and this year is no exception. So thank you for joining me today, Analytic Brain. Kim is here. Oh, sorry, I've lost you. Where have you gone? The problem with the live chat is sometimes it jumps ahead, and sometimes I lose track of the names. Huang is here. Valio, Zakira, Elk, Luciano, Francisco is here as well. Thanks for joining me today. Tier, Fatia, Abdullah, Leonardo. Wow, so many people already are with me live today. Of course, the big question must be, What was the view like this morning? What was the view from my window like? Here it is now. So this is the view that greeted me this morning. It is quite cloudy today. We have had a lot of rain so far today. And it's very cloudy. Also, it's very cold as well. It really does feel as if winter is on the way. Is it getting cold where you are? Because I know in some countries it is very cold. In fact, in certain parts of Europe, already they are having snow. I'm so jealous. I can't believe it. Already there are people having snow. I'm very jealous. So if you are having snow at the moment, can I just say now that I am feeling very envious of you? Because I'm really looking forward. I'm hoping that this year we have some snow here in the UK, because last year we had nothing. We had no snow last year. So last winter was very mild, which was very disappointing indeed, if I was honest with you. Yovan is here. Hello, Yovan. Good afternoon. Your lesson from last week was amazing. Really? Did you see last week? Did you see last week's live stream? You didn't? Why not? Okay, for those who missed it, here is the whole of last week's live stream in 26 seconds. It is a special day today, because today is... Do you know what day it is today? Today is November the 5th. It is a special day. More about that later on. There is a special festival taking place today here in the UK. It is something called Guy Fawkes Day, or of course we can say Guy Fawkes Night. So tonight across the UK, many people will be setting fire to large piles of wood. They will also be letting off fireworks as well. So lots of things going on today for November the 5th. I will explain more about that later on. Of course, we can't talk about the weather without talking all about autumn. And right now, autumn, oh goodness me, what can I say? What can I say about autumn? But I can say one thing very clearly, and that's that autumn is a very beautiful season. So here are some shots that I filmed this week, some little scenes of autumn. Oh, isn't that beautiful? As you can see, the leaves are changing, they're turning, many of them are falling to the ground, and there it is. There is the view this week, taken during one of my walks here in Much Wenlock. Many people ask, Mr. Duncan, where are you? Where do you live? I live in a place called Much Wenlock. And look, oh, isn't that beautiful? I really do love autumn. Now, it is true that not every country in the world has the autumn season. There are people who don't have it. But for me, I love the seasons. I love winter. I love spring. I love summer. And also I love autumn as well. Beautiful seasons here in the UK, and there the trees looking very lovely. I always think that autumn is a very magical time of year. What do you think? Do you like autumn? Do you have autumn where you are? Some people don't, of course. Of course, the downside of autumn is that it can get very cold at this time of the year, and right now it is freezing. Freezing cold. I must say, it really does feel as if winter is on the way. It really does. So we have lots of things to show you. As I've mentioned already, I do make English lessons right here on YouTube, and they are available on my YouTube channel. Also, you can find all of my lessons under this video. So beneath this video you can see all of my lessons. They are under this video, all of my playlists, because a lot of people do ask, they ask, where are your lessons, Mr. Duncan? We can't find them. So just have a look under the video and you will find all of the playlists. So we have the mystery idioms coming very soon, but let's take a look at one of my English lessons. This is taken from Full English number 13, and it features one of my most favourite times of the year. So let's forget all about the cold weather, because now it is time to relive the summer months. Can you see what sort of day it is here? Today is a hot day. It is a midsummer's day. This seasonal period is when the days are at their longest and quite often their hottest. A hot day can be described in many ways. It's a scorching day. It's scorching hot today. It's a sweltering day. To swelter is to feel uncomfortably hot. It's baking hot today. It's burning hot. This sort of weather makes me feel all sweaty and sticky. If you stay out in the sun too long, you will burn. Your skin will turn red from the sun's ultraviolet radiation. Too much exposure to harsh sunlight will literally burn your skin, which can lead to serious health issues later. Ironically, exposure to UV light is necessary for the production of vitamin D2 in the human body. So, a hot day like this can be described as hot, scorching, sweltering, dry, baking. The extreme heat is overwhelming, oppressive, harsh, and unbearable. Oh my goodness, I'm so thirsty. I feel parched. I'm gasping for water. To refresh yourself by drinking something cold is to quench your thirst. Your thirst is the need, and the drink is what will satisfy that thirst. We can also use the word thirst to show the desire to do something or to obtain something beneficial. You can have a thirst for knowledge, a thirst for social interaction. We can also use the need for food, hunger, as an idiom for want and desire. I hunger for your soft embrace. I'm hungry for success. Both hunger and thirst are often feelings that need to be satisfied. That's better. There can be no doubting just how hot it is today. It is so hard to escape the heat. By the way, the word heat can relate to other things besides temperature. We can use heat as an idiom for danger or trouble. Let's wait here until the heat has died down. To feel the heat means to be aware of possible dangers or an approaching situation that might cause you trouble. We can say that the heat is on, which means that a tough situation is happening. Then there is things are really heating up now. This means that there is tension and maybe a sense of excitement in the air. To be in hot water means to be in serious trouble. Then there is a heat, which is a round in a contest or competition. A part of a contest can be called a heat. Congratulations, Mr. Duncan, you are through to the next heat. This is a much better place to be standing. If you want to escape the harsh sunshine, then you will need to find a nice shady place in which to hide from those nasty UV rays. You need to shade yourself from the sun whenever possible. A shady spot gives you relief from the sunshine and the heat. The word shady can also mean suspicious or untrustworthy. We can describe a person we don't trust as being shady. A shady character is a person who should not be trusted. A shady deal is an exchange or business deal that is being dishonestly carried out. There are many ways to keep yourself cool on a hot day. A quick way of doing this is to use one of these. This is an electric fan. A set of blades rotate to produce a flow of refreshing air. Very nice when you need to feel cooler without making much effort. A fan can also be something you use to cool yourself off with by waving it whilst holding it in your hand. Any large flat object can be used as a fan, such as a piece of cardboard or a magazine, or even one of Mr. Duncan's old flip-flops. On second thoughts, I think I'll stick with the electric fan. It's much less effort. Black shoes and socks with shorts. Oh, what a fashion faux pas. They appear so odd together when looked at from afar. Shorts with black shoes and socks should never ever be seen. Even if you squint, the sight is still quite obscene. Black shoes and socks with shorts, please be off and make it quick, as those black shoes, socks with shorts are making me feel quite sick. sadly, that is all I have time for today. Yes, another full English lesson has come to an end. Don't worry though, because I will see you very soon for full English number 14. Yes, it's true. This is Mr. Duncan in a hot and sweltering England, which just happens to be the birthplace of the English language, saying to you, thanks a lot for watching me, teaching you. And of course, until next time, ta-ta for now. Of course, I'm not going anywhere. There it was. Full English number 13 from 2015. So I hope you enjoyed that. Of course, I like to show you some of the highlights from my lessons because I have been here now for 11 years making my English videos, and there are many videos that some of you might have forgotten about, or maybe there are videos that you haven't seen before. So that is the reason why I like to play some of my old videos during my live streams. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I must admit I did enjoy looking at the sunshine there. It is nice sometimes to think of a happy summer's day, don't you think? It can transport you away somewhere lovely when in reality it's cold outside. So I did enjoy that. We will be looking at another lesson very soon, a lesson talking all about fire and also Guy Fawkes. Who was Guy Fawkes and why are we talking about him today? All will be revealed a little bit later on. Tias is on the live chat. Tias says, it's very weird, Mr. Duncan. I was watching your live stream at 8 p.m. local time, but last week and now it is airing at 9 p.m. The reason is because we have changed the clocks here in the UK. We have altered the time, so we have gone back 1 hour. So the time difference in some countries will be different now. I know it confuses everyone. It confuses me as well. I was very confused last week because I forgot to put the clocks back. So I got myself into a big mess last week because I forgot to do it. So yes, the time difference has changed because we have moved the clocks back 1 hour. That actually happened last weekend. Jana is here. Oh, Jana says, I have a nickname. It is Jojo. That is one of the questions we are asking today. Do you have, or does someone you know have a nickname? Is your name abbreviated? So sometimes we can give a person a nickname, so the nickname is an alternative to their given name. Or of course you can just abbreviate your given name. So the name that you were born with, the name you were christened with, or the name that your parents gave to you. Sometimes we will abbreviate it. For example, David becomes Dave. So, hi Dave instead of hi David. So, you can quite often abbreviate names. And of course, you can also have nicknames as well. Later on, we have Mr. Steve coming. Oh yes, Mr. Steve will be here live at 3 o'clock. There he is from last week. So Mr. Steve was here last week. He was dressed up for Halloween. And he will be back today at 3 o'clock live with me in the studio. But take a look at the picture you can see now on the screen. I think Mr. Steve in this photograph, he looks a little bit like that. Do you remember that kid that kid who was dressed as a zombie, and he said, "I like turtles." I think Mr. Steve last week reminds me of that kid. I don't know why. When I saw Mr. Steve last week, I thought to myself, wait a minute. I think Mr. Steve is copying that guy, that kid, the turtle kid, from the viral video on YouTube. So I think Mr. Steve looks a little bit like that kid on the left. What do you think? Do you think there's a similarity? I'm not really sure. Anyway, Mr. Steve will be here today at 3 o'clock. Hopefully he will not be wearing his Halloween costume. I think he will be looking normal today. Well, nearly normal. Nearly normal. Luciano is here. Hello, Luciano. Hello to you. Luciano says, "Is Isabella or Bella?" Oh, yes, of course, because Bella is often a shortened version of Isabella. Yes, I think so. Or I think sometimes it can also be Belinda as well. I think so. So I think Belinda and Isabella can actually be shortened to Bella. I'm just looking at the live chat. It is moving very quickly. So many people today. Bloody Mary is here. Hello, Bloody Mary. I haven't seen you for a long time. Arn Kinney is here as well. Who is Arn Kinney? I get the feeling that Arn Kinney might be someone famous. I think so. Yes, Rose Smells says, Isabella is my real name. So Bella is the shortened version of Isabella. I understand now. Very good. Hello, Mr. Duncan from Vietnam. Well, I have a lot of people watching in Vietnam at the moment. Israel SA says, yes, I have one. Del is my nickname. My family have called me this before I was born. So your nickname is Del, but is it short for something? So is Del the shortened version of another name? For example, Derek. So the name Derek can often be shortened to Del. Jana is here, enjoying the view from my window. Thank you very much, Jana, for that. Oh, we have Hong Kong watching as well. Mao Xing Chan is here. Hello, Mao. And a big hello to everyone watching in Hong Kong at the moment. Apparently, Luciano says the weather is the same here today. It is good. You are having good weather today. I'm very jealous. We are having terrible weather here in England today. It's raining. It's been raining all day. Lucas is here. Hello, Lucas, watching in Brazil. Two more hellos. Mr. Adam. Hello, Mr. Adam. Who are you? I've never seen you here before. Mr. Adam says, nice t-shirt. Thank you very much. Ooh. And finally, Zakara. How is it going? I'm so happy that this is my first time for me to catch your live video stream. Well, Zakaria, you are welcome. Thank you very much for saying hello today. So let's have a look at the mystery idioms. Here they come. 2 mystery idioms. I will show you 2 pictures. All you have to do is tell me what the idioms are. They are well-known expressions in English, and all you have to do is tell me what they are. And here is the first mystery idiom right now. Oh, that's an interesting one. Something very unusual. So there is today's first mystery idiom. Just say what you see. It is a well-known expression in English. And of course, I will give you the answers later on. And here is the second mystery idiom. Oh, yes. I must say my Photoshop skills are getting very, very good. What do you think? Do you think my Photoshop skills are good? I think I'm getting better now at Photoshop. I really do. So there is the second mystery idiom, and here is the first one again, for those who missed it. But what are they? What are today's mystery idioms? And here is the second one again, just in case you missed it. But what are they? If you think you know what they are, let me know, because I would love to hear from you. Come on, don't be shy. Type some words. Type a sentence. Send me a message now on the live chat. Don't be afraid. It's all right. Yes, today is bonfire night. So many people tonight will be lighting bonfires. It is November the 5th. Remember, the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. But what is it all about? Well, I'm going to let you know what it's all about right now, because we're going to have a look at another one of my full English lessons. And in this lesson, I will explain all about bonfire night and who Guy Fawkes was. Can you see what I'm doing today? I'm preparing to light a fire. I have some old wood and garden debris to dispose of. To start a fire, you need some dry material. This will light easily. Paper is the most common material used, or small pieces of wood will also do the job. The material used to start a fire is called kindling. You use kindling to start the fire. Kindling establishes the fire. There is also the word kindle, which means to start a fire. Kindling is a noun, while kindle is a verb. I will use a match to start the fire. I will strike the match and light the paper. This will start the fire. The paper will ignite. The word ignite comes from the Latin word for fire. We sometimes use the word pyro to describe something related to fire. For example, a person who is addicted to starting fires can be called a pyromaniac. The most obvious parts of a fire are the flames and smoke. Can you see the flames? The movement of the flames cannot be predicted. Flames move randomly. We can use the word lick to describe the movement of a fire's flame. The flames licked around the doorframe. A flame flickers. We can describe the flame on a candle as a flickering flame. A flame can shimmer, flicker, glow, dance. The fire I'm lighting today will be safely contained. This container is called an incinerator. you burn things in an incinerator. The inside of the incinerator will become very hot. To keep the fire under control, I must put this lid on it. Now the fire will burn steadily and remain safe. The small hole in the centre of the lid allows the smoke to escape in a controlled way, just like the chimney on a house would. Fires are fun to watch, but they can also be very dangerous, especially if they get out of control. After the fire has gone out, there is normally some debris left. This grey-looking substance is called ash. This is all that is left of what was burned. You can also put out a fire using water. This action can be described as extinguish. You extinguish the fire. You put the fire out. You have extinguished the flames. The fire has been put out. Here in the UK, we have a tradition that involves lighting fires. Each year on November the 5th, people light large bonfires to commemorate the capture of a group of men who were plotting to blow up the Houses of Parliament and kill the then King of England in 1605. Parliament was, and still is, the meeting place of the British government. The plot, however, was foiled when Parliament officials discovered one of the plotters, a man named Guy Fawkes, guarding the gunpowder. This event became known as the Gunpowder Plot. The celebrations take place every November 5th. It is known as Guy Fawkes Night. Large bonfires are lit and life-size effigies of Guy Fawkes are burnt on the fires. Fireworks are also let off, and quite often food such as baked potatoes are eaten. There is a rhyme that goes with this event too, which begins, "Remember, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot." There it was. So for those who didn't know what Guy Fawkes was all about, Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night, now you know. We will be talking a little bit more about that later on when Mr. Steve joins us in around about 12 minutes time. Yeah, Mr. Steve will be here as live can be. And a little bit later on, because the weather now is getting very cold, as I mentioned earlier, it's getting very chilly here in England. So a little bit later on, we will be going into the other room to light the log fire. And as you can see, I have some logs here ready to burn on the fire. So that's another thing we'll be doing. And I hope you will stick around to the end of today's live stream, because we will be going outside to let off some fireworks. It's true. So please, I hope you will stay with us. I hope you will stay with us right to the end of today's live stream, because we have something pretty awesome coming your way. We will be having fireworks outside to end today's live stream. Talking of fireworks, do you have any festivals in your country that use fireworks? Now, I always think of Bonfire Night or Guy Fawkes Night, or of course New Year celebrations. So when the new year arrives, lots of people will set off fireworks. But I'm going to ask you individually, do you have festivals that use fireworks? And what are the special festivals in your country that use them? So if you have any special festivals in your country, so maybe something that isn't celebrated anywhere else, please let me know. Do you have any festivals that are celebrated in your country? Also today we are asking, do you or someone you know have a nickname? Does someone, or maybe yourself, do you have a nickname, or maybe a friend or relative, perhaps they also have a nickname? Mika Ode, who is watching in Japan, has sent me a message on the live chat. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. My nickname was Me, which of course is short for Mika, when I was a child, and I was called Pooh when I was at high school because I loved Winnie the Pooh. Of course, Winnie the Pooh, the story of the bear who always liked to eat honey. So, Mika Ode had a nickname at school. But did you have a nickname at school, or do you have a nickname now? We will be talking about nicknames later on, and Mr. Steve will be revealing a very embarrassing nickname. So the nickname that Mr. Steve had when he was at school, he will be revealing it later, and it is very embarrassing. And just to make things fair, I will also be revealing my nickname. So my classmates at school also gave me a nickname. Something to do with my real name, in fact. Quite a few people are sending answers to the mystery idioms. Let's have a look. Congratulations to Olga. Well done, Olga. You have, I think you've got both of them right there. And also Aridas, thank you very much for sending your answer. Also Jamelia. Apparently Jamelia also has a nickname. Jamelia's friends call her Jamie. Zena, thank you very much for your answer as well. There is the first mystery idiom and there is the second one. So they are today's mystery idioms. But what are they? I have quite a few correct answers today. Well done. Well done to all those who are getting involved. Hello to everyone. My full name is Eleanor and my short name is Lena or Lena. When I was at school, I had a nickname. It was Wonk. I think I should write that down, actually, just in case people think it was something else. So, this is Eleanor's or Lena's nickname. Wonk. But why? I wonder why. Why was that your nickname? Thank you, Lena, for that. Lena, or should I say Eleanor? Hi there, says Valentine. I used to know a guy in my childhood with the nickname God because his parents were Christians. Oh, maybe they should have called him Jesus. I think Jesus would have been probably better. Thank you for Fitness Girl for your answer to the mystery idioms. It's very busy today, by the way, on the live chat. So many people. Mr. Duncan, do you remember your days in China during the Chinese New Year? Oh, yes, I do. Because during the Chinese New Year in China, many people set off fireworks. It is a very noisy time of year during the Chinese New Year. And of course, in China, they have these small red fireworks called firecrackers. And you light them, and then lots and lots of explosions go off at the same time. They are ever so noisy. They are really, really noisy. And sometimes, not everyone, but some people would also let off firecrackers very late at night. Sometimes they would throw them into the area where the stairs were. And I remember just once in my apartment, someone actually let off some fireworks outside my apartment door. They were firecrackers. Very, very noisy things indeed. So yes, I do remember my time in China during the Chinese New Year. Let's just say it was a very noisy period of time. Very noisy indeed. Mr. Steve will be here very soon. Julie G says an abbreviation of my name is Julie, which of course sounds very similar to your real name. And the pronunciation, apparently it is similar to prawn. Okay, I'm a bit confused there, to be honest. So you can call me Prawn or you can call me Julie. Thank you very much for that. Olga says every year in my country we have Victory Day, which is on the 9th of May. We have gorgeous fireworks all around the cities here in Russia. So in Russia, they have a special fireworks celebration on the 9th of May, and it's called Victory Day. Eleanor, Mr. Duncan lives in a cosy house. Well, I think my house is very cosy, especially when I light the fire. And that's what we will be doing later. We are going to light the log fire. Mr. Steve and also me as well. We will both do it. Igor or Igor is here. Hello, Igor. Thanks for joining me today. In Jakarta, apparently, in Indonesia, we usually use fireworks to celebrate the wedding. So if someone has a wedding party, we will normally set off fireworks. I must admit, we don't do that here. So we don't have fireworks during weddings. I think that would definitely scare the bride. She would be very afraid, I think. And maybe the guests would be as well. Thank you, TS, for that. Wow, so many people joining in today on the live chat. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it. Flavia says, yes, Mr. Duncan, we have many fireworks during our festivals. We have many, many festivals. It really is a very noisy time. Well, to be honest, here in England, here in the UK, lots of people hate fireworks. Can you guess why? Can you guess why people hate fireworks here in England and also across the UK? Can you guess why? There is one particular reason why many people in this country hate fireworks. I will tell you later. Antonio is here. Hello, Antonio. It is Antonio in Brazil. Do people ever call you Tony? I think that would be great. Antonio, we could shorten that to Tony. I suppose we could anyway, if you don't mind. The new year is a good time for fireworks. I agree. Normally here in England, especially in London, they have huge firework displays. Actually, I'm just wondering, because this year, of course, you can see over there the clock tower, Big Ben, the Big Ben bell, will not be ringing this year because, of course, there is a lot of maintenance taking place. So they are repairing the clock tower at the moment in London. So it's being repaired. So I'm just wondering what they are going to do this year when the new year arrives. Will they still have the Big Ben chimes as the new year arrives? I don't know. I wonder if they will. Luciano says fireworks are noisy and can be very dangerous. I agree with you. That is true. But there is one particular reason here in England and across the UK why people hate fireworks. Can you guess why people hate them? People do not like the noise or the sound of fireworks. Thank you, Neil, for that. Maybe it reminds them of the bombing during the Second World War. Well, I think that's a very good idea. I think so. But there is another reason why many people hate fireworks. Can you guess why? Jamelia says, here in Algeria, we have fireworks on Independence Day, which is on the 5th of July. Okay, here we go. Belarus or Belarusia. Well done, you are right. Yes, there is one reason why many people complain about fireworks, and the answer is pets, animals. So many people get very, very upset because when the fireworks go bang, their pets become very upset. So that's very good. Thank you very much for that. Look at the time, everyone. We are a little bit late here, but he is here. Better late than never. That's what I say. Yes, Mr. Steve is on his way. Oh, it's all go here today. So many things going on. It's been a very hectic week. I have been outside putting the Christmas lights on the house. I think some of my neighbours are very scared, very worried, especially my new neighbours, because they are not used to me yet. So I think they are very worried about the fact that I'm putting my Christmas lights up very early. But the reason why I do it is because the weather, of course, over the next few weeks will turn very cold and wet. So that's the reason why I'm doing it now, whilst the weather is not so bad. Talking of nice things, talking of things that make us feel good, here he is, everyone. It's Mr. Steve.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. I'd really like to say it's great to be back with you here again this week. I'd really like to say it. I'm joking, of course. I'm excited to be back here again.
Of course you're joking.
And yes, and we're much more pleasantly addressed this week after last week's rather scary outfits.
Let's have a look at Mr. Steve last week. Here we go. Here is Steve last week. And I was saying earlier that Mr. Steve's makeup looked a little bit like that boy. Who remembers that boy on YouTube, the one that likes turtles? I think Mr. Steve's outfit looked very similar to him. What do you think? Hey, Mr. Steve, you're back again.
I'm back. Oh, what I've got to say, look at this exciting, interesting backdrop I've got. Yes, it's developing every week. What is that? Some kind of robot?
Some kind of robot? Don't you know who that is?
Is it R2-D2?
It's R2-D2 from Star Wars.
It's a good job I didn't say C-3PO. You'd have probably come over and hit me.
Well, you might not believe this, Mr. Steve, but when I was at school, lots of people used to say that I was like C-3PO because I was very tall and thin. Oh. And also, I used to move around in a very strange way, especially when I walked. I don't know what they meant by that. But some of my friends used to describe me as looking like C3PO. Oh, hello. I'm C3PO, human cyborg relations. And this is my counterpart, R2D2.
Very good, Mr. Duncan.
Talking of nicknames,
Yes.
we are talking about nicknames today. And many of my viewers have been sharing their nicknames. But now it is time for you, Mr. Steve. Oh, by the way, you are getting some very nice comments about your shirt.
This old thing.
I think Amanda is very, very impressed by your shirt.
Hello, Amanda.
Amanda likes it.
Thank
Mandy.
you very much.
Maybe Amanda's nickname is Mandy.
Well, that's
Yes.
an abbreviated form
Yes.
of the name. Very nice name it is too, particularly when she says that I've got a lovely shirt. This shirt is probably about 10 years old.
Oh, Eleanor also likes your shirt.
Oh, thank you very much. That's 2 fans.
I'm getting worried now, but it would appear that people enjoy your dress sense more than mine. Although
No comment.
that's nothing new, really. That's nothing new. So, Mr. Steve, it is now time for you to share with us your nickname from school. Now, first of all, we can shorten certain names, can't we?
We can indeed. Yes, we can.
For example, your name.
My name, yes.
Your name is Stephen with PH. So it's not Stephen with V. It's actually Stephen with the P and the H, because you are very posh, of course.
That's it. The name Stephen. If your parents gave you the name Stephen with a PH in the middle, you were considered to be posh.
Yes.
Whereas if it just had a V in the middle of it, you were a bit common.
But of course, many people call you Steve.
Everybody calls me Steve, and I don't like it. And of course, an interesting thing about abbreviated names is, and I come across this a lot at work, particularly with girls, is that they often like to use an abbreviated form of their word, because if they use the full name, it reminds them of when their mother or father or parents were scolding them for being naughty.
Ah, yeah, that's true, isn't it? Because normally
yes.
when parents scold their children, they call them their full name. They give them their whole name.
So I've got people at work, and if I get, for example, Samantha, everybody calls her Sam, but if I ever say Samantha, oh, don't call me that, she says. That reminds me of when my mother used to scold me for being a naughty girl. So a lot of people don't like that. Most people, I think, prefer their abbreviated names because it reminds them of when they were naughty as a child. That's what I find. Anybody else out there got the same experience?
We have had quite a few people giving us their nicknames and also their abbreviated names, but we have something more important to discuss. So when you were at school, Mr. Steve...
Trying to avoid this.
When you were at school...
Yes.
Now, you have told me that your classmates gave you a very... I think it might be an insult, but maybe it's just a friendly, fun way of describing your name, or maybe that what they've done is actually altered your name. They've changed it slightly. But what exactly was your nickname at school? And please explain why.
Okay, so they used to call me Harpic at school. They used to call me Harpic.
Harpic.
Because my surname is very similar to that. And there was a particular disinfectant used for cleaning toilets.
Yes, it's on the screen now.
Called Harpic. And it was, it must have been, when I was at school, they used to advertise it a lot on the telly. And I think it was a new product that had come out. So I used to be called Harpic Bog Cleaner. Because it's very similar to my surname. So that was a very common one that I was called at school. Yeah.
So your classmates used to call you Harpic.
Yeah, they didn't even shorten it. They just called me Harpic Bog Cleaner.
And there you can see on the screen now.
Oh,
there it is between us on the screen. There is a bottle of Harpic, and you use that to clean out the toilet. Now I'm not sure if that is a nice nickname or an insulting one. But of course, the reason why they called you that is because your surname sounds very similar to Harpic.
It does. And so sometimes when people give you nicknames, it's based on maybe a certain part of your character that they pick up on, or mannerisms, but sometimes it can be something topical, like an advert on television or something going on television.
Okay, just to be fair, Mr. Steve, we're now going to reveal my nicknames at school.
Your nickname.
I had a couple of nicknames. There was another one that I'm not going to say because it was so rude. If I gave you this particular nickname, YouTube would come along and they would say, Here, Mr. Duncan, you can't say that on YouTube. I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave the building. So no, I'm not going to tell you what that one is. But there are some I can tell you. For example, some of my friends and in fact some of my family used to call me Dunk.
Dunk, short for Duncan. That's an abbreviation, would you say?
So that's okay. I think Dunk is okay. So that was a nickname. Of course, also an abbreviation of Duncan, which is my real name. A lot of people don't think Duncan is my real name, but Duncan is my name.
So can we call you Mr. Dunk?
Yeah, no. No, you can't call me Mr. Dunk. I would,
Mr. Dunk.
I would not appreciate that, let's just say. And, of course, there was another nickname that I had. Fortunately, this one is okay to say.
Right.
And that is Dunky Donut.
Dunky Donut.
In fact, one of my uncles used to always call me Dunky Donut.
So why did they call you Dunky Donut?
I think because it just sounds fun. So it wasn't abbreviated. In fact, it made my name probably 3 times as long as it should be. So Dunky Donut was what a lot of my friends and also family, especially one of my uncles, would always call me Dunky Donut.
Wasn't there a product, Dunkin' Donuts or something? Wasn't there a product available?
I think you might be right there, Mr. Steve. You might be onto something there.
So yes, again, a topical product of its time that was used to make fun of your name, give you a nickname.
Oh dear me.
Of course, you do like sugar. We all know you like lots of sugar, Mr. Duncan.
Yes,
so
of course.
I bet you like donuts.
Okay, then. Mr. Steve is getting very carried away here, by the way, with all of this. So that was one of my nicknames. Let us not forget that Mr. Steve's nickname was a product that you use for cleaning out the toilet. So before you pick on me for my nickname, don't forget Mr. Steve's nickname was a toilet cleaner. Okay, so there's no mistake there. Of course, in English there are lots and lots of names that can be shortened and abbreviated. But in a moment we are going to talk about that. But now we're going to take a little break because we are going to light the fire in the living room.
What?
Yes.
The excitement.
The excitement.
Have you been building up the excitement with the viewers?
I have. I bet you can't. I bet you really can't wait. The cold nights are coming. Now this is something we did yesterday. So this thing you are about to see is not live, but it's something we did yesterday. We went into the living room and we decided to light the log fire. And wasn't it fun? And don't forget also at the end of today's live stream, we will be going outside to have an outdoor firework display.
The like of which you have never seen before.
Lots of banging, lots of explosions to end today's live stream. But right now we are going into the living room because it's time to light the log fire.
See you in a bit.
Okay.
Here we are.
Oh, hello there. Hi, everybody. So here we are now. This is a place where we don't normally film but I thought because the cold nights are coming now, everything is getting very cold, winter is definitely on the way, I thought it would be a good idea to show you how we normally light the fire in here, because of course the theme today is
Bonfire night.
bonfire night and fire in general. So here we are. Now, Mr. Steve, first of all, why do we have this fire, first of all, in the house? Because, to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan. Mr. Steve wanted to have a fire in the house, a log fire, whereas I thought it was a waste of time. So why did you want one, Mr. Steve?
Well, a fire is homely. It makes you feel comfortable at home, secure, safe in the cold weather, the winter approaching. And also, if the central heating breaks down, you've got a backup, because living in the middle of nowhere, as Mr. Duncan does here, then you need a backup in case the heating breaks down. And it's just nice to have a fire. It's like everybody likes a fire. It's sort of a primeval, sort of basic instinct that we like to burn things. We like to have a fire. We feel safe. Goes back to the thousands and millions of years when people lit fires to protect themselves against the wild animals. So yes, it's a primeval sort of inbuilt instinct to want a fire, and I like a fire.
Okay, there is something I agree with you there. There is something quite fascinating about watching a fire burn. I do agree with you there, Mr. Steve. So maybe Mr. Steve's argument for having a fire in the house is a good one. Having said that, I am of course now a convert to the home fire, because I now agree with Mr. Steve. I was very sceptical at first, to be honest, but now I kind of think, yes, I think that's a good idea. You could say that I have warmed to the idea. You see, if you warm to something, it means you start to think it's a good idea. You change your opinion. You actually agree or accept something. So you warm to it. So there we go. We are teaching some English already. Ooh.
That's the idea.
Hooray! So, Mr. Steve, I've just realised that we are sitting in the most uncomfortable position in the world. This is really uncomfortable. So I don't want to stay here too long, because I can already feel the blood in my legs coagulating. So here we go.
Extreme, Mr. Duncan.
I can. It's horrible. It's like Halloween all over again. So, first of all, we have the fireplace here. It's a very simple construction. You have a place where the fuel goes, and you have a thing that goes up to the outside. Of course, we all know that's called a chimney, or it can also be called
A flue.
Flue.
Here you go.
Flue. So flue is the thing that allows the smoke and all of the poisonous fumes to escape from the house.
We don't want those coming into the room.
You don't. And we also have to have some airflow as well. So the air has to flow through the fire to allow the flames to burn. So although it looks very simple, it is actually quite a complicated thing. So you need airflow, you need the poisonous fumes to disappear out of the house.
The smoke.
The smoke and all of the horrible things that might cause you to choke and die.
Carbon monoxide poisoning. You don't want that.
You don't want carbon monoxide in your house, to be honest. It's not very good.
In fact, we've got a carbon monoxide detector, because you have to have them by law in the house if you've got something that burns like a fire. Obviously a fire burns, then you need to have a carbon monoxide detector to make sure that you're not being poisoned.
A detector, yes, so something that will sense the carbon monoxide in the air. So first of all, before we do anything else, we have to make sure that the fire will light. So we need things that will help the fire to start. And here is something that's very useful. This is a kind of material that's been soaked with flammable liquid. I think in this case I think it might be paraffin or petrol. But this, you put a little bit of this on the fire and it will start the fire. It will allow the fire to light.
Yes, it's a fire lighter, surprisingly.
It's a very simple name. I'm so glad that they've named this simply. So
I don't think there's petrol in it, by the way, Mr. Duncan. We don't want to soak things in petrol.
This isn't
in
petrol.
The house.
I think it is paraffin, isn't it?
I think it's a form of paraffin. Yes.
Not petrol. So
No.
please don't start your house fire. Don't start the fire in your house with petrol. It's not a good idea. It's not petrol.
This will be an interesting video if there's petrol on those firelighters, Mr. Duncan.
It will be very, very interesting. I think it will certainly increase our viewership as we sit here in flames, burning. So we need to put a little bit of this inside some paper first of all, like so. So there it is. So the reason why I'm wrapping it up is to allow the paper to also burn, so it will catch fire very easily. So we put some of this on the fire first of all, Mr. Steve.
We do indeed.
We certainly did. Now here are some I've prepared already. So
Oh,
I put these on the fire. So some of these will have a little bit of fire lighter inside and some of them don't. Okay, so we put these on first. Are you enjoying this?
no.
Well, that's an honest answer. So there we go.
Yes, of course I am.
For those who have just joined, we are live on a Sunday and it's Mr. Duncan, that's me, and Mr. Steve
That's me.
in our living room.
We are teaching English, but if you don't know how to light a fire, you should do after this.
I just put a bit more on. So here's another little piece of fire lighter. There we go, just in case. So now we need something else, Mr. Steve. What do we need next?
We need some small pieces of wood to help the fire start, and we call that kindling.
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 Can you see the kindling?
Small bits of wood. But these big bits won't start on their own. You need something, as you know, to start a fire. You need some small bits to get it going.
There we go.
Get the fire going, to kindle it.
So to kindle something is to start something off. So you can kindle anything really. You can kindle a relationship. You can start a relationship. You can put it into motion. So to kindle something. And of course you can rekindle as well. Rekindle.
Yes, if a relationship has gone off the boil, has died a bit down, you can rekindle the relationship by, for example, going out for a meal or something like that, to restart the relationship.
Or maybe you could get some sexy underwear.
Well,
Do you like that? Do you like the marriage advice there? So if your relationship is failing, if the magic has left your life and you want to rekindle your relationship, maybe get some sexy underwear. So we put some kindling on the fire. You can see here I've got quite a lot of kindling. So first of all we put this on the fire like this. Now watch how carefully I do this. I'm going to do this very carefully. Look at that, instant. There we go, a little bit more. We've got lots of kindling here. I'm sure people are going to say, Mr. Duncan, you've put too much kindling on the fire.
you have put too much on. You don't need all that, Mr. Duncan.
Now, before I light the fire, I'm going to move this out of the way because this is very flammable. So if you could put this just over
I'll
there.
put that over there for you.
Just so we don't have any fire incidents.
Mishaps.
And now I'm going to put these two pieces of wood on the fire as well, on the top. So they're not very big pieces of wood, but they will eventually catch fire. So we just put that there, like that, and that there, like that. And now we are ready to light the fire.
So what do we need to light the fire, Mr. Duncan?
We need to ignite the fire. We need to start the fire by using a match. So, Mr. Steve, please give me the matches so we can light the fire.
We could rub 2 sticks together. We could have rubbed 2 sticks of kindling together until they started smoking.
Perhaps if I rub my legs together, for a long period of time,
So-
maybe that will create a fire.
So where are the matches, Mr. Duncan? I can't see the matches.
No, you've got the matches.
Have I? Oh, look, they're over there.
No.
I'll go and fetch them.
Okay then. Oh well, that wasn't what we rehearsed. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Thank you for the matches and also your ad-libbing.
Oh, look. Don't drop the matches.
Well, you can drop them. You can drop matches. There you go. Nothing happened. Shall I drop it again? No, nothing. So you can drop matches.
I meant don't drop them and then leave them there, is what I meant.
You can drop them all.
Well, I just did.
We're still here. So let's light the fire. Would you like to light it as well with me?
No, you do all that. You like to light fires.
Okay.
So you go ahead, strike the match.
So first of all, we need to strike the match. We are going to strike the match. There we go. This is the interesting part.
Hurry up before you burn your fingers.
So now we just light the paper. And just to make sure, I'm going to put another match on. Just to make sure that it lights. And then we close the door. And now hopefully we are now making sure that the air will flow through. So all of the airflow is open to make sure that it lights.
The exciting bit.
It's very exciting. So now the fire is starting to light. Come on. If this
It's a bit slow.
doesn't work, we're in big trouble. It's lighting. Don't worry about it. It's lighting. There we go. Look, it will start. Come on, fire. Wouldn't it be great if this actually went out?
It looks like it's going out.
No, it's lighting. Look, there it is.
it's-
Hooray!
Right. The fire is rekindled.
We have fire, everyone. Can you see it? There it is. There's the fire. Fire.
I think people know what fire is, Mr. Duncan.
Fire.
People know what fire is.
We have fire, everyone. I feel like a caveman. Sort
Of
of.
course, we might get sparks in a minute. And, of course, sparks, you could have a spark of an idea, couldn't you? So a spark is something that is a small thing that can get something else going. So if you have a small spark of an idea, it can develop into something very big, like a spark on a piece of wood can develop into a big fire. So there's another bit of English we've just thrown in there.
So it's lighting now. Ow. Look at that. There we go. They said it couldn't be done.
It's roaring away, as we say, with
already.
a fire.
So now what is happening? The air is rushing in as the fire burns.
I think people know how a fire works, Mr. Duncan.
There we
You don't
go.
have to tell them.
So we have airflow. Airflow. It's very important, isn't it?
I think it probably is.
I'm glad to see Mr. Steve is taking this seriously. Look at that. Whoa.
There we go.
Pretty dramatic.
It's getting warm already. I can feel the heat coming off. The heat is radiating from the fire.
So the heat is coming off. It is radiating. So that's it. We will now be warm tonight. We don't have to worry about going cold because apparently the temperature tonight is going to be very low indeed.
Well, you'll be. I'm going out.
Are you going
So
out?
you'll be nice and warm.
Steve's going out again. He's got to earn some money. I don't know what he does, but he's doing something.
I'm not lighting fires. I know that.
He always comes back with lots of £5 notes, and they're always very tatty and grubby. I don't know what he does, but anyway.
I'm going to a bonfire night party.
Anyway, it allows me to buy the kindling, so you know we won't go cold. Right, let's go back into the studio, Mr. Steve. And you're going to
Okay.
change into some other clothes as well as we do it. I don't know how this happens.
It's magic.
Shall we just admit now that this is pre-recorded? Anyway, let's rejoin Mr. Duncan, that's me, in the studio. And I'm going to get up now and allow the blood to flow back into my legs. Shall we go?
Bye-bye.
Let's go. Bye-bye. Yum. We are back live. Yes, live as live can be. Just after 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon. Remember, it is the 5th of November. It is myself, Mr. Duncan, and of course, Mr. Steve is here. Mr. Steve, what was wrong with you yesterday? You seemed a little bit bad-tempered yesterday.
I was in a bad mood yesterday. You are right, Mr. Duncan.
You were really you were really bad-tempered yesterday. I could tell you weren't taking that very seriously.
But you said, "Come on, Mr. Steve, we've got to do this." Because the loyal viewers want to see us doing something together, and you said, "Let's try and light the fire," and I reluctantly agreed, and I think it was all right.
It was all right in the end. I managed to salvage it.
I think, interestingly, you've had quite a few comments while you were playing that little clip.
It would appear that a lot of people liked what we just did.
I've got to say, I couldn't get up after that. I found it very difficult to get up. My joints had seized up while we were kneeling down there.
Apparently, Mr. Steve, let me get a word in edgeways. Apparently, that was a special yoga position that I was in.
Really?
Yes, a yoga position. I'm trying to find the message now that told me about it. I can't find it now.
Somebody wrote. Yes, go on.
I found it. Shut up. Boom. Boom. That's a good name, by the way, for today, because there are a lot of booms.
That's the name of a firework?
I'm not sure. Mr. Duncan's position, the position that Mr. Duncan is sitting in front of the fireplace, is actually quite healthy. It didn't feel healthy. All I could feel was the blood being cut off to my feet. I thought my feet were going to fall off, to be honest. It is, in fact, a yoga position called the Virasana. Virasana. So you are basically kneeling, but your legs are flat on the floor. But it's very uncomfortable. I don't know how you can do yoga in that position and still be relaxed, to be honest. I don't know.
Yes, there are all sorts of yoga positions, aren't there? I think they're all called. They all end with sana, don't they? At the end, I think.
I don't know.
Yes, I think they do. I have done a bit of yoga in the past. You can get very flexible, very bendy. And can you do the splits, Mr. Duncan? Can you?
Can I do the splits? I've done the splits by accident in the past. I once lost my bicycle saddle, and I sat down and I did the splits then. I really did. I jumped up in the air and did the splits because my bike saddle was missing.
Can you pull your legs up and wrap them round the back of your head?
I can do that to somebody else's legs.
Interestingly enough, somebody's made a comment about carbon monoxide detectors, me being a bit nerdy. In this country, yes, if you have particularly a new appliance fitted into your house, like a gas boiler or an oil boiler, or if you've got an open fire, anything that burns, then yes, you have to have a carbon monoxide detector. Because when anything burns, carbon monoxide is a poisonous but odorless, colourless gas. You don't know it's there. And every year, tragically, in this country, because it's a cold country in the winter and we have to light fires, a lot of people die every year through carbon monoxide poisoning because they don't let enough air into the room, and when that happens, the burning it doesn't occur properly, and you get poisonous gases coming into your room. So yes,
I'm getting a bit of burning now. I'm getting a strange burning sensation now as I'm sitting here.
You could be just sitting there and being poisoned by and you just slowly fall asleep and then never wake up.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Steve, for
it's Halloween again.
Yes, it's not Halloween though this week. It's not Halloween this week.
Bit of information about carbon monoxide, or CO, as it's abbreviated to.
Sorry, yesterday you were accusing me of being boring in the video that we just showed, and here you are droning on.
I'm giving out valuable life-saving information.
Trust me, this is not valuable information. It really isn't.
Well, no. If you're going to rent a property in the UK, I think you need to make sure your landlord has properly maintained the central heating system, or you could die from CO.
Yes, haven't you just said all this?
Said that, yes, but it's typically landlords trying to cut costs, and it happens several times every year. It's quite tragic. Anyway, that's my 3 pennyworth.
This is a bit heavy. Can we now go back to talking about nicknames?
Well, I thought what was very funny is that somebody said you were starting the fire by burning your flash phrases.
Yes, and many of my scripts as well. I think I was burning my scripts yesterday. All the unsuccessful ones.
All your bank statements with nothing on them. Sorry, Mr. Duncan.
Hilarious.
So we're going back to abbreviated words, are we? Bit of tension in the studio today.
We're not going back to abbreviated words. We're going back to abbreviated names.
Names, okay.
Please listen to me when I'm talking. So we are talking about nicknames, and as we discussed earlier, Mr. Steve has a nickname. At school, he had one, but I think we might reintroduce it.
We've done that already.
So Mr. Steve's nickname was actually named after some toilet cleaner. Just so you all remember that. So we can also shorten names as well. We can shorten names. I've got some here. I think you've got some as well. So let's have a quick look at some names that can be shortened or abbreviated. So here we go. Here are some. So we have David. So what can you abbreviate David to?
David is a Dave.
Dave.
D-A-V-E.
Dave. Yes, you can call David Dave. Hi, Dave. How are you doing, Dave? Shall we go out to the pub tonight, Dave, for a drink, Dave?
Problem with Dave is it's got certain sort of labels, connotations with it, hasn't it? Dave.
Apparently Lemon Tree is roasting their chestnuts. Well, you shouldn't get so close to the fire. Also, we have Susan, Mr. Steve.
Susan, that would be Sue.
Sue, or of course
Susie.
Susie. So Susan can be Sue or Susie. Yes, Susie. I always think Susie sounds like a very fun name instead of Susan. Susan doesn't sound like a fun name. But if you change your name to Susie, suddenly you sound like the life and soul of the party. You should meet Susie. She's such a laugh. Susie, she's wild.
But it's the same thing with Stephen. You can call somebody Stevie. And I think if somebody says Stevie to you, they're not really treating you seriously. So Susie, Stevie, it's sort of, yes, it does denote somebody who might be sort of fun-loving, but also somebody who's not particularly serious or takes life very seriously.
Francesco is going now. Francesco is leaving.
Bye-bye.
Francesco has to go to the gym to do some exercises to push those weights and run on the treadmill.
Oh, wait another 20 minutes.
I know. Why can't you just wait till the end? Because we've got a super firework display.
Yes, you can't miss the firework display.
You can't miss the fireworks. Sarka says Mr. Duncan's name at school must have been Cowdunk. Cowdunk? That doesn't make sense.
Cowdunk.
Do you mean... Oh, I see, because it sounds like cow dung, which, of course, is cow poo. Cow poo-poo.
Have we had people sending in their abbreviated names, their full names and their abbreviated names?
We've had a few. Interesting
to see in other countries if they do the same thing, and if so, how they abbreviate it.
Yes, or not. Stuart. There's Stuart, my brother-in-law. I have a brother-in-law called Stuart, and of course you can abbreviate Stuart to
Stew
or stew. Stew or stew. Yes, that's a good. Or of course, Stewie. Stewie, like Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. What the deuce? What the deuce? Victory will be mine. Jonathan. Oh, that I think one of your brothers. Sorry, not one of your brothers. One of your nephews, Mr. Steve, is called Jonathan.
He is indeed, yes.
Jonathan, and there's a name check there for you, Jonathan. It will cost you nothing. It's free of charge. So, Jonathan, now? As I understand it, Jonathan can be shortened in many ways.
Yes, Jon. John is the common one.
John.
Yeah, that's the main one.
Also, Johnny.
Johnny, yes.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where my Johnny has gone, but Judy left the same time. Why was she holding his hand when she's supposed to be mine? It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Everybody, join in. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Philip.
No comment.
Philip.
Phil.
I think so, yes, Phil. Apparently we missed out Derek. So there is Derek. What about Derek, Mr. Steve?
Derek? I don't know. A short version of Derek. Rick?
Derek
Would you call them Rick?
Des, okay.
Des,
yes. Or, of course, Desmond. Desmond can also be shortened to Des. But, yes, Derek might be Des. There we go. And now we have, Margaret.
Margaret, yes.
Margaret.
Madge.
There's more than one. So there's Madge, also
Marge,
Maggie, and
Marge.
So, for example, Marge Simpson from The Simpsons. No, I'm not going to do an impression of Marge Simpson. It's not very good.
Another common one is Joanne for a girl's name.
Oh, yes, Joanne.
Joanne, common name, usually, of course, abbreviated to Joe.
Joe.
J-O, Joe. So, yes, there's another one. And we've got, how about Thomas?
Oh, Thomas.
Was a very popular male name in this country.
Thomas.
Tom.
Or Tommy, of course.
Or Tommy, yeah. Yes, Tom. Parents, of course, we've already touched on this. Parents don't like their children's names to be abbreviated generally. If you're a parent out there, I'm sure you would agree with me there. You name your child the full name and you don't like usually to hear it abbreviated. Would I be right?
Some people don't like to have their name shortened. They like to use the full name because it sounds more glamorous or more impressive. I think so.
I've got a friend.
Yes.
Who's got the same name as me, Stephen.
Okay.
And I've known him for over 30 years.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine, and still to this day he will not let me abbreviate his name to Steve. And I forget because everybody calls me Steve. Everyone else I know that's called Steve, and I abbreviate it to Steve. But if I say Steve to him, he always corrects me and says, "My name's Stephen."
That's not very imaginative, by the way. So your name is Steve, and the only friend you can find nearby is also called Steve.
I've got other friends, Mr. Duncan. Not
Steve-
just one.
What about when you're in a room together? It's Steve and Steve.
He doesn't like it being abbreviated.
Oh, it's Steve and Stephen. So that's how you distinguish between the two.
It's just that he doesn't like his name abbreviated. And it's a little annoying. I think he should get over it.
Another one we have. Terence. Terence. Can you see it there on the
Terence,
screen?
that's an old-fashioned name.
Yes, Terence. I think there still are people called Terence.
Or Terry, as we
Do
would
you
call
remember
him.
the singer Terence Trent D'Arby?
I do indeed.
Yes, Terence Trent D'Arby. He had very long dreadlocks, and he sang very high. If you stay another day, something like that. So Terence can be shortened to
Terry.
Terry, or of course Tez.
I've never heard of that one.
I'm sure you can. I think you can shorten Terence to Tez or Tezza.
Are you good at remembering people's names, Mr. Duncan?
No, I'm not.
As a
I'm terrible.
teacher?
I am the worst. Maybe next to you, I am the worst or maybe second worst person on the planet for remembering people's names. I'm terrible. I can never remember anyone's names. Even if I meet someone new, I can never remember their names. By the end of the conversation, I've completely forgotten their name.
And it's a very good skill to develop, remembering people's names, and it is about making the effort to do it.
I think
it's all
so.
about making the effort.
Apparently, Lemon Tree says when I was a kid, I was nicknamed the Jumping Girl
Oh, okay.
because I used to jump and hop whenever I was excited. Whenever I experienced moments of joy and happiness, and I still do at an adult age.
We'd like to see an example of that.
So
Any
Lemon
videos?
Tree is still a jumping girl.
We'd love to see that.
Maria, I'm talking to a girl called Maria. My nickname is Marinella. But that's quite a
Marinella,
mouth.
what could we shorten that to?
That's very hard to say, by the way. So your nickname is Marinella.
Could we shorten it to Nelly?
Or just Marie.
Yes.
Marie. Lost says Lordana. Oh no, that's something else for another person in the live chat. So there are a lot of. Oh, there's some more here. I've got some more here. Oh, look, I've got some more names. Have you got any on your list, Mr. Steve?
I've run out on my list. Maybe people can send in examples of names that will remind Mr. Duncan of a song.
I've got one here.
Because we've already had about 3. No, not more singing, Mr.
No
Duncan.
singing. No. I don't think there's ever been a song written about Alan.
Maybe not.
How would you write a song about Alan? Alan. So what can Alan be shortened to?
Al.
Al, yes.
But then that's short for Alfred as well. But Alan's quite a short name, so
Yeah.
it's not usually abbreviated.
Well, quite often, abbreviated names can also be the same for different names. So, for example, Al can be Alan or Alfred because they both start with the same 2 letters. So I think so. Also, we have... here's a good one. Royston. That's a very interesting name, Royston. It is a real name, by the way, Royston.
Has somebody sent that in?
No.
You're using very up-to-date names,
It's
Mr.
come from
Duncan.
my brain, that one. So that might explain a lot.
I don't think I've ever met anyone called Royston.
There is a comedian. There is a funny man called Royston Vasey. And his real name is Royston, honestly.
Oh, I believe you, but I'm just saying it's not a common name.
That's it, yes. So there you go. Royston Vasey. So that is his real name. Well, Royston can often be abbreviated to Roy. Roy. Luciano has got it right. So Luciano knows the name.
Pavarotti is with us again.
Yes, Luciano, and also Nil also said Roy. By the way, for those who missed the mystery idioms, here they are again for those who didn't see them earlier. I will give you the answers in around about 7 or 8 minutes time.
I haven't seen them yet.
So there is the first one. Quite a few people have got these right today, so congratulations to you all. And there is the second one. So there are today's mystery idioms, but what are they? What are they? If you think you know the answers, just let me know, please. Mr. Steve is here today.
Hello. Has anybody sent in any examples of their names from other countries being shortened, abbreviated?
Oh, here we have one already. Yes, it's funny you should mention that, Mr. Steve. Ricardo says my name is normally shortened to Rick.
Okay.
Rick. And of course Richard as well. Richard can often be shortened to Rick, or of course Dick.
Yep.
So Dick is the shortened version of Richard, although nowadays you don't hear many people called Dick. There aren't many Dicks around. Have you noticed that, Mr. Steve?
They don't tend to use that.
It's been a while since I've
the abbreviated word.
But it's been a long time since I've come across any Dick.
Yes,
to be honest.
It's got because of the alternative meaning of the word, you don't normally call people that unless it's a derogatory term.
Oh, of course, yes. Dick can be used as an insult. You can call someone a dick if they are foolish or stupid. I think so. Well done, Mr. Steve.
Yes.
Trust you to know that one. Luciano says... You. Oh, Luciano's got the answers, by the way, to the mystery idioms. Well done. Also, in Arabic, apparently, they abbreviate Abdullah to Abdo. I didn't know that. So there we go. We're learning something now. We're full steam ahead here with the learning today.
Oh, I know one foreign name, Mohammed. That's often abbreviated to, I don't know what often, but Mo.
Ah, yes.
I don't know if that can be abbreviated to Mo.
Because, of course, there is the famous athlete called Mo Farah.
Which I was about to say, yes.
And his first name is Mohammed. So we shorten it to Mo. So lots of people know him as Mo Farah. Ute R is here. Hello, Ute. I haven't seen you for a long time. My son's name is Benjamin.
Right, yes.
So, yes, there are a few ways of changing that name, aren't there, Steve?
Benny.
Ben, the two of us need look no more.
He's off again. Michael Jackson. Michael. We haven't discussed Michael.
Thank you for talking all over my lovely singing there. I was singing all about
We haven't got time for singing, Mr. Duncan. There's only 10 minutes to go.
God, you're getting you are annoying today, by the way.
Michael. Mick.
I was singing a lovely song there to a little rat.
Go on then.
Ben, the two... I don't want to do it now. I'm going to sulk now.
Silence.
I'm sulking. Mr. Steve wouldn't let me sing my song.
I just suddenly thought, when you said Michael, when you were singing that song, it reminded me of Michael Jackson, which is obviously a word then we discussed afterwards.
A lot of things remind people of Michael Jackson these days. A lot of things. Marmen says, my name is Maria del Carmen, but the abbreviation is Mamen or Marmen. Oh, that's very nice. Apparently a lot of people want to hear the rest of the song, but I don't want to now because Mr. Steve interrupted me. He interrupted my singing, so that's it. It's off. Singing ended. No more singing, and you can blame Mr. Steve for that. It's his fault.
Doesn't look like I'm coming back next week.
Or ever again. So there are quite a few names. Oh, let's have a couple of more. Gavin. That's a great name. You don't get many Gavins around anymore. But of course that can be shortened to
Gav?
Gav, yes, it's true. I'm not joking. Gav. That's it. Gav. So, and two more. We have Jeremy. Jeremy.
Jeremy. Jezza?
Yes, Jezza. Just like the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn. A lot of people call him Jezza. Jezza. Jeremy. Jezza. And finally, one more, very topical at the moment, because of course I have some very bad news for all those watching in Asia. Donald Trump is now near to you. So Donald Trump. So the word or the name Donald can be abbreviated to...
Donald. Don?
Yes, Don. Don. Or, of course, Donny.
Donny.
So apparently one of Donald Trump's former wives used to call him Donny. And apparently that nickname has stuck over the years. So a lot of people call him Donny. Or, of course, the Don as well.
Oh, yes, the boss.
Yes. A lot of people getting angry now because I've mentioned Donald Trump. So,
Yes.
oh, Mr. Steve, it's almost time for us to go. I can't believe it.
Ready.
It's gone so fast today. Wow. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yes, I have, Mr. Duncan, as ever.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, who are you talking? Talking to yourself?
I was talking to everybody else,
Oh, I couldn't see that.
but not you. So, before we go, before we finish, we will reveal today's mystery idioms. A lot of people got these right. So, first of all, the first one, I thought this was quite easy. Yes, many people got that one right. The answer is cut corners. If you cut corners. The meaning of cut corners: to do something quickly by leaving out important steps or instructions, to lazily do something through lack of interest. The plane crash was caused by the mechanics cutting corners during safety checks. So, cut corners. And the second one, a lot of people got this one right. I think this one was quite easy. Skeleton in the cupboard. Actually, this would have been suitable for last week during Halloween. Skeleton in the cupboard, the meaning: a dark secret that must never be revealed under any circumstances. Mr. Steve, do you have any skeletons in your cupboard?
Many.
I'm sure. A dark moment from a person's past that is kept secret can be described as a skeleton in the cupboard. Or, of course, we can also say skeleton in the closet. In the closet. Talking of which, Mr. Steve and myself will be going very soon, but we have to get our coats on. We are going to go outside just before we finish. Thanks for joining us today. We're going outside now. We have some fireworks prepared because today it is November the 5th. What is significant, Mr. Steve, about November the 5th?
Well, on November the 5th, Guy Fawkes, who tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament many, many years ago, we recreate the event when he was burnt alive on a bonfire. There
is also another tradition called Penny for the Guy. Now, you don't see many people doing this nowadays, but in the past, lots of people used to stand in the street and they would make a little effigy of Guy Fawkes, and they would stand and they would ask people to give them money for the guy. They used to say, penny for the guy, penny for the guy, penny for the guy.
I wonder if the name Guy was for many years after the event took place, and I can't remember when it did take place now. Can you remember, Mr. Duncan? Was it 17 something?
It was yes, around about then, yes. We are talking 1700s.
So
sort of
a few hundred years ago. I wonder if the name Guy was very unpopular for a long time after that, because it's a word that's used quite a lot now, quite common name now, but I bet it was unpopular for a long time after, like the word Hitler, for example. The name Hitler, nobody calls their child Hitler now, but maybe in 200 years' time it might come back into favour.
Sorry, Mr. Steve, could I just point out that Hitler was actually Hitler's surname? Nobody's calling their child Hitler as
yes, I forgot that. What was his first name?
What? Look, no one ever in history has ever called their child Hitler as their first name. I
can't remember his first name.
Yes, no, Adolf.
Adolf, that's it. That's what I meant to say. Nobody calls their child Adolf.
No one.
But maybe because of the connotations with Adolf Hitler, but maybe in 200 or 300 years' time, the name Adolf will come back to being popular.
Well, I think you'll find in Germany there are Adolfs around. I don't think Adolf as a name has actually become unpopular, to be honest. But
I wouldn't have thought.
But certainly the other name isn't very popular anymore. I think we can safely say that.
I think if that was your surname, you'd have probably changed it.
Anyway, I'm trying to change the subject, to be honest. Has it got hot in here?
Back to fireworks.
Yes, I feel as if I'm on the bonfire now. I feel like I am Guy Fawkes being burnt alive here. So let's go, Mr. Steve. It's time to go outside. We are going outside. It is time to say goodbye, and we are going to light some fireworks. Mr. Steve has...
I'm going to take this with me because I think we're going to need it.
Mr. Steve has the fire extinguisher ready. Show it us again. Show it again.
There you go.
There it is. The fire extinguisher is ready, just in
fully
case.
Charged.
Just in case.
We don't want to set fire to the house or any of the neighbours' property.
Definitely not. So we are going outside now, and it's time to light some fireworks because it's November the 5th, everyone. Okay, here we are. We are now outside. It's dark, thank goodness, because of course the nights come early at this time of the year, which is good for us because now we have to light some fireworks. Unfortunately, Steve, we haven't got a big firework display.
No, we've just got sparklers.
So these are just little sparklers, and the reason is because all of the neighbours don't like fireworks that go bang. So instead we're going to have a little sparkler display. So these are little sparklers. They are things that you hold in your hand, and they sparkle, as their name suggests. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can light these. So Mr. Steve, let's go. Okay, Mr. Steve is lighting his. You can't see what's happening. That's it. There we go. Come on, light. I'll try and light mine as well. Wow. Yeah.
There's
one. There's Mr. Steve's. Let's try and light mine now. Yeah. So these are sparklers, and now we are going to light our sparkler display behind me. Mr. Steve has already started. So here we go. Let's light our lovely firework display just before we finish today's live stream.
Yeah. Right, that one for Mr. Duncan.
Look at that. Yeah, we have a sparkler display. It's time to say goodbye. I hope you have a super duper November the 5th, just in case you are doing something special. We will leave you now. Of course, I will be back next week. Mr. Steve will be back as well, won't you?
I will indeed.
Yeah, it's time to go. I hope you enjoy our little firework display. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying, see you next week. Have a great week. Stay safe. And of course, you know what's coming next. Ta-ta for now. Ta-ta.